In this section, I will discuss microwave amplifiers and sources. Before moving to the topic, I would like to mention limitations in conventional vacuum triode, stators, and pentores in gigahertz frequency ranges. And these are lead inductance, inter-electrode capacitance, transit angle effect, and the gain bandwidth product limitation. Those who wanted to learn these concepts, please visit my previous lectures. Due to this effect, conventional circuitries cannot be used for handling with the signals in gigahertz frequency ranges. So new devices have been developed. Now let's familiarize some of the devices used as amplifiers and sources. We will learn two cavity klystron under microwave amplifiers and reflex klystron oscillators and magnetron oscillators under microwave sources. First, we will learn two cavity klystron. In two cavity klystron, we will learn its block diagram, its principle of operation, and its performance evaluation. Velocity modulation and current modulation are the basic principle of operation behind this two cavity klystron. Now come to the block diagram of two cavity klystron. As the name indicates, it consists of two cavities, Buncher cavity and a catcher cavity. Okay, to the Buncher cavity, we will give the input signal which is to be amplified, and the amplified the signal is taken out from the catcher cavity. The input signal is mathematically denoted as Vs equal to V1 sin omega t, where V1 is the amplitude of the input signal and omega is the frequency of the angular frequency of the input signal. Now, another important components are cathode and its anode. Here, the cathode is utilized as a source of electrons. Here, the cathode is coated with barium oxide and it is heated up with a sinusoidal signal of 6.02 volt, which will heat up the cathode to generate a large number of electrons. These electrons will moves towards collector region as shown in this figure. To maintain a constant electric flow between the cathode and the collector region, a strong DC supply voltage is given across cathode to anode and it is denoted as V0. Usually the range of V0 is about 250 to 500 volt. Now let's see what happened to the velocity of electron. See, when there is no interference of input signal, the electron will move with a constant velocity of V0. However, when it reaches the gap, Buncher cavity gap, the velocity get modulated according to the input RF signal. After modulation, the electrons will create a clusters or bunches as we seen in the figure. When these bunches of electrons reaches the catcher cavity, what happened is that the high kinetic energy of the bunched electron will be transferred to the catcher cavity, which will eventually lead to the amplification of the signal. After transferring energy to the catcher cavity, the electrons will be collected by the collector. Okay, this is the basic principle behind this diagram. Now, I would like to mention the term T0, T1, T2, T3 and L, where T0 is the time at which the electron entering to the Buncher cavity and T1 is the time at which the electron leaving the Buncher cavity and T2 is the time at which the electron entering to the catcher cavity and T3 is the time at which the electron leaving the catcher cavity and L is the drift space. Okay, now it is assumed that at the center of the drift space, the maximum bunching will occur. Now, another important term is V of T1, where V of T1 is the velocity of the electron at the time of T1, and I of T1 is its corresponding current. Then we will derive the equation for V of T1 in the coming section. And here also D, here the D is the gap distance. Now I would like to calculate the velocity of electron beam. The electron will flow with a uniform velocity V0 as I already discussed without the effect of input signal. So V0 can be calculated as shown. When we apply the potential energy of the electron will be converted into its kinetic energy. From this we can calculate the equation V0 after where E is the charge of the electron and m is the mass of the electron. After putting these values, we can simplify the equation like this. Now what happened when we apply a input signal? So the electron velocity get modulated according to the input signal Vs equal to V1 sin omega t. When Vs equal to 0, the V0 remains same. When Vs is equal to positive, which means during the positive half cycle of the input signal, the V0 will increase. When Vs equal to negative, during the negative half cycle of the input signal, V0 will decrease. This phenomena is collectively known as velocity modulation. We will derive the equation for modulated velocity in the coming section. Now, I would like to summarize the components of two-cavity klystron. Here, the cathode acts as sources of electron. Anode will help us to form the electron beam. To the Buncher cavity, we will apply the input signal V1 sin omega t, and from the catcher cavity, we will take out the amplified output, and it is V2 sin omega t. And the collector will collect the electron after transferring energy to the catcher cavity. Now, some of the important parameter used for the derivation. V0 we have already mentioned, it is the DC voltage applied between cathode and Buncher cavity. Then V1 is the amplitude of the RF signal. It should be always very much lesser than the DC supply voltage. Then V0 is the uniform velocity of electrons between cathode and the Buncher cavity, and T0 is the time at which the electron entering the Buncher cavity. T1 is the time at which the electron leaving the Buncher cavity. Another important parameter is transit time of electron in the Buncher cavity, and it is calculated as tau equal to d by v0, where d is the gap distance and v0 is the velocity of electron, which is equal to t1 minus t0. Again, T2 equal to time at which the electron entering the catcher cavity. T3 is the time at which the electron leaving the catcher cavity. And theta G is the phase variation of input signal during the transit time. And it can be calculated as omega into tau, where omega is the angular frequency and tau is the transit time. Again, another important parameter is beam coupling coefficient of the Buncher cavity. We will find out the equation for beam coupling coefficient in the coming section, and L is the spacing between Buncher and catcher cavity, where L is the design parameter for optimum performance of the klystron amplifier. In the next section, we will learn its derivation for beam coupling coefficient, modulated velocity, and depth of modulation. Thank you.